Hello there, it's me, Sari here again, and today I'm here with a video of dies that I've fallen in love with. They are called Craft Dies by Sue Wilson, and I believe it's creativeexpressions.com.uk.com that makes them. I haven't tried them yet. I've just opened the packages just to be sort of quicker in this video, and I'm just going to take you through a trial and error drive-through with these dies just to see if they are better than, let's say, dies from Spellbinders that have these intricate, beautiful details, which I'm having rather a hard time die cutting even with a brand new Big Shot machine. So let's see where I'll end up with these. But first off, I'll just take you through what I've gotten so far. I've gotten a set of Scandinavian Collection background dies. There is a set of 3 dies. The first thing I'm reacting against, let's say, is the fact that I see the picture of this and I'm thinking that, okay, I'll be cutting out a frame. That's not going to happen because it doesn't have a cutting edge on the outside. It's just going to cut out the inner bit. So you have to do the cutting of the edge yourself. In one way that is good, because having fiddled a little bit and die cutting, you could actually, instead of having just a frame, you could make this into a card and put in a piece of pattern paper or something in the background and have a sort of beautiful card to from the get-go, and you could just score it from here and have the leftover piece on the back side of the card. I'll be taking you through that process soon. So Scandinavian Collection was something that I fancied, and I did like that one actually. And then there is an Austrian Collection, and I also did like that one. That one comes with just 1 die, it says, but it doesn't make sense because there's 2 dies. There is the centerpiece and then there is the outer piece. So I mean, this one is actually incorrect, I must say. And then I got myself the Scandinavian Collection. This one's called Stockholm. 5 dies, you get both the inner piece and the outer pieces. You can get these and perhaps even mix them on top of other dies or perhaps card bases. This one is called Copenhagen. It's from the Scandinavian Collection. 5 different dies there. And there's also another Scandinavian Collection piece. It's called Oslo. 6 dies. So you get the outer pieces and the inner pieces, and that's a good thing. The first thing that got me started when I saw these beautiful dies, when I realized that you can actually use these in 2 different ways. You could have them either side at the topper, as a topper of your paper. So just imagine having these as, let's say, sides in your mini album perhaps, or just have this as a part or decoration on a card or something. So you are going to get the beautiful inner piece, but you're also going to get 2 outer pieces, 1 for either side, so you can actually just decide on whether you want that to be there or just want to cut it out. So I'll just try to make it work with these. This one is called Mini Gemini Dies Links. And I've got another one which is called Era, and it's the same procedure with that one, but I'll just hang on with that one for a while because I'm not sure if I'm going to keep these or not. Perhaps I got a little bit carried away when I saw these magnificent dies. This one is rather big. It's called Lyra. It's also a Gemini dies set. And just look at the size of it. I just have to think about whether I'm going to be able to use it or not. So perhaps I'll be sending them back. I'm not sure. But let's get started when it comes to these beautiful, intricate sort of frame dies. So first off, I have cut a piece of paper, and I have decided that I want to have a little bit of a border there. And in order to keep this one in place, just in case I have to run it through the die cutting machine a couple of times, I'm going to fasten it with some washi tape. The trickiest part with washi tape, of course, is to find where we're at. Sometimes you have to struggle a bit, but let's hope I don't have to do that much in this video. So in this case, I'm going to tape it down really well, just in case it were to slide and glide a little bit. So there we are. And I'm keeping the length here. I don't have to do it. I could, of course, just count and measure and do the cutting accordingly, but I just felt like being a little bit lazy getting started here. So since this is a thin die, I'm going to go with a regular sandwich, and so I've got the base plate with all the flaps, and I've got 2 cutting plates when I'm getting started here. And I'll have to see if I need anything else as I go along. And in this case, I'm going to just turn this one upside down because I do have the tape there to keep it in place. But you see, the one thing I didn't think about here is that this paper is now too wide for this machine. So I have to take the other machine out. The one Big Shot that is called Plus. And now I might have to struggle because the Big Shot, I mean, I'm having problems getting these plates through. I have to use my chest to make it work, but I'll see where I'll end up. And if it doesn't work, perhaps I will try to use the smaller plates with this one. So right now I'm out of frame, I know, but I just put the dies at the back end of this plate set. I just put the die here just because I want to vary where I do my die cutting on these plates. That is what you are recommended to do. So this is really thick now. I have to work it a little bit, and as it seems it's going to die cut really nicely right now. So there it popped, and I'm just going to move this a little bit like that, and as you can see, it actually did cut it out really nicely. So I don't think that I need to cut it twice. It seems like everything is die cut beautifully like that. I might go for an embossed look, let's say. So in that case, I'll be taking out the plates from the smaller machine, because when I'm going to do some embossing, or dry embossing I should say, I need to peel away the 2 tabs, which I'm going to do like that. So I'll be ending up with just this one. And since I have a bigger machine, the opening is bigger, I can actually go for this. Hopefully I can actually just turn it around. I couldn't. So I'm struggling a bit here. So since I can't do that, I just have to abandon that idea, I'm sure. So let's see, let's get back. I mean, the thing is, the base plate does have room for the hinges and everything. Usually the tabs are sitting on this bit. I have been able to use the magnet plate both ways, but since it doesn't have any room for the hinges. But I mean, I can't really get this away now, can I? I mean, I would have to have a really good saw in able to do that, but I would love to have it, really, come to think of it. So in this case, I'm sorry, I just have to abandon that idea altogether. But let's see, perhaps I should be smart now. Perhaps I should do the die cutting of more pieces while I'm at it and just continue with the card later. That's a clever idea, isn't it? So just take that one away. Or should I? Well, I think I should, I'm sorry. And I could just go on with the smaller dies, because now I see that it does actually cut it out in just one pass, and that's what I'm really after when it comes to these beautiful dies. So let's move on. I think I'll just go for the magnetic plate, or I don't think I should. I'm just going to go for the regular sandwich, and since I'm going to use another thin die, I'm going to put all of the tabs there and just one cutting pad for now. And I'll be putting in a rather slim or narrow bit of a paper, and I'm thinking that I would like this one to be on top, and I'm seeing myself using these two with, let's say I'm going to cover this up later, perhaps with a bit of pattern paper or something. Let's see if I can make sense after a while. So in this case I have to make sure that I'm having the right outer piece to this side, because this side will need a different one. it is in the package, but in this case I just have to make sure that I'm using the proper ones. And you know what? Since I'm going to add on 2 dies that have to be together, I'm going to shift to the magnetic plate instead. In that case, I'm actually having a possibility of making sure that things are going to stay in place. So I'm going to take one cutting plate from there, and I'm going to take the paper. I'm just going to place it like that. Let's see if I can show it to you better while I'm doing it. And since I am interested in having as much paper as I can at the bottom, I'm going to put this one as far up as I can, and then I have to eyeball it a little bit just to make sure that I have equal amount of paper around the die, otherwise it will look a little bit wonky. And I'm thinking that perhaps that's where I want to end up. I could go for a little bit of tape, but since I am having that magnetic plate, I'm hoping it will keep it in place. So, keep your fingers crossed. And since I'm using a magnetic plate, I actually do want these to be on top of the paper instead of underneath. So let's see, it does seem to have done rather a beautiful job. Let's see if that's correct. Just going to get rid of those, put them in their place, and just look at that. The papers are still in this one, it doesn't matter for now, but you can still see what a beautiful result I'm getting. And in this case I'm just going to cut off the excess paper there, just so you can see where I'm ending up with this beautiful die set. So imagine having this, and you can actually have a piece of pattern paper or something on top of this, and you could just have it. Perhaps you can make even beautiful placement cards or whatever. Even the small bits and they are being easily poked out like that. So that's a really beautiful die. So I'm happy with that, the outcome of that actually. Let's move on to another. I'm going to go for a Scandinavian Collection Oslo, and in this case I'm just going to go for 2 dies. I'm going to go for the outer part as well as the inner part, and I'm going to do the same thing. Let's see if this one is big enough. It isn't. So I'm just going to start by putting the outer bit there. And you know, if I would do like this, perhaps I could work a little bit down here. Sometimes the light bulb goes up, you see. So what I'm doing now, I'm just eyeballing this, making sure that I have a equally placed whiteness around it, around the edge there, and I'm going to die cut it, hoping it will be enough with just one pass. If you are struggling with your machine, perhaps it's a better idea for you to just use some washi tape on top and then just have this one the other way around when you are doing the die cutting. And you know, I'm seeing that perhaps it hasn't done the most perfect job here and there, so I'm just going to shift it upwards onto the magnetic plate and hope that this pass will help me make it a better. Yes, so now I actually feel that, well, that has done its job beautifully. So I'm just going to take that one away. If I wanted to, I could actually do some dry embossing, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to go back to the regular plate without the platforms or the tabs, and then I'm going to go for 2 embossing mats, and I'm going to use one of the cutting pads underneath, put both of the rubber mats there, and then I'm going to go for another cutting plate, and I'm going to roll it through once, because it's going to make the world of difference to that die cut piece of paper, I'm telling you. So let's see how easy or difficult it's going to be for me to poke out this one from the die itself. It seems like, you see, I haven't done a perfect job centering this, so that's something to bear in mind. You need to fiddle a little bit just to make sure it'll be good enough, but the end result is still rather beautiful, I must say. So let's say if I were to compare this to the bit that I haven't dry embossed, I mean this is beautiful as it is, but I'm going to get a sort of a decreased look there, or de-embossed look. It's going to get a softer sort of inward looking thing there. And I'm thinking that this one could be nice looking on top of that card base that I'm working on right there. So instead of making things more difficult than they are, I'm just going to stop here and I'm going to get my paper trimmer. In this case I'm using a guillotine from Martha Stewart. And just to see how tall this one is, I'm just going to try to measure it against the ruler there, so I know where I'm at. So this one is 6 and let's say 5/8. And if I do that twice, it's going to be 12, 13 and 2/8, perhaps 13 and 2. Let's see if I can manage that. I need a ruler. You know, I think I'll just make it easy for me. I think I'll just go for centimeters because I'm having a longer ruler, which is only in centimeters here. So I just have to figure out where I want the card to be. Let's say 11.5 there, but it's almost 12, so almost 24 I have to go for. So how come I started thinking about, well, you see I'm not really there now, am I? So 24 centimeters, let's say, is going to end up at, let's say, 9 and something. So I'm just going to cut it off there. I'm just going to turn it around. Oh, for goodness sake, I just have to think about this cleverly now, aren't I? Like that. And then I have to score it in the center. You know, I'll just have to pause now. I'm sorry, I'll be back.